Hey everyone, Jay Whitner here with Kickstarter Coaching. In our internet TV show Crowdfunding Coverage, we do a quick 15-minute recap on what happens each month in the crowdfunding zone. So here we go, talking about November of 2015. In November, there were 13 big campaigns of $650,000 or more. Those big campaigns brought in about $17 million. And the biggest campaign was Battletech, which is a video game, and that campaign raised $2.8 million. So we'll go through the news, and then we'll talk about 8 of the big crowdfunding campaigns. First, the news. Kickstarter had a big milestone. In November, they hit $2 billion worth of lifetime pledges on the platform. And as you can see from the chart here, that it's not like they were moving at the same pace throughout. They've been accelerating throughout their entire history and still climbing fast. Good for them. Congrats to Kickstarter and their team. On the Indiegogo front, they announced an interesting partnership with Brookstone. A lot of people that do a crowdfunding campaign, they have an idea and they do their campaign, but it's very difficult for them to get into distribution channels because they don't have those connections and so forth to do that. So what Indiegogo has done is they've done a partnership with Brookstone such that people that are running campaigns on Indiegogo can apply to Brookstone for basically for placement in the Brookstone retail stores, and this would be a smoother way for them to get their campaigns out into the marketplace. And another sign of crowdfunding and education and the spread of everything, one of the biggest aerospace engineering type organizations, Embry-Riddle University, is using crowdfunding. They have big pilot and aviation programs in Arizona and in Florida, and they're using crowdfunding to help students fund some of their projects. And this is something that they kicked off in mid-November, so we'll see how that goes over time. We've seen quite a few other organizations build Kickstarter-esque platforms to try to get involved in the crowdfunding business, but perhaps none with the reach and social media horsepower of Facebook. So Facebook has announced that they're building, or actually built, I believe, a non-profit crowdfunding site that's like through Facebook. Now, although this is non-profit, so you might say it's not really a head-to-head full competitor with Facebook, it certainly would be easy to scratch off the non-part of the non-profit and make this be a very interesting situation. So we'll see to what extent Facebook wants to get involved in the crowdfunding business directly. There is a company called Crowdster that offers a variety of tools to help people with their crowdfunding operations. And they made an announcement in November that they're offering a couple new tools, one of which I think is interesting. It's a tool to identify sort of market leaders, thought leaders in different areas. So let's say that you wanted to do a crowdfunding campaign about aviation, and you typed in aviation, and it came up that the John Smith blog is a big thing for aviation. So you could then reach out to John Smith's blog for coverage about your campaign. So it's a way to identify different opinion makers in the industry in which you're trying to get some traction. So on to some of the campaigns themselves that happened in November. We'll talk about a wide range of campaigns from $700,000 to almost $3 million. The video length, which is a key metric, ranged from 1 minute 47 seconds in these big campaigns to 5.5 minutes. The campaign length ranged from 23 to 60 days, and the average was getting to be a little bit more than the 30 days, which has oftentimes been sort of regarded as the sweet spot. So it may be that's lengthening a little bit. Reward levels ranged from a low of 3 all the way up to 24. And updates had 5 to 41 updates. So pretty amazing in terms of 41 updates during their campaign. Good job for them. So with the campaigns themselves, what were they about? What were some interesting aspects of the campaigns? The first one is Nora. And Nora is a snoring solution. This has a sound sensor which detects the sound of the snoring. And when that sound is detected, there's an inflatable device inside your pillow that raises or lowers your head to sort of make you stop snoring somehow. So this is quite an interesting idea for all you couples out there that have somebody who snores. Some of the interesting things about their campaign in particular was they had a lot of early bird levels, which is reduced pricing for people that come in and participate early. They had a group of people, like if you contributed to their campaign early, you get early delivery. So they're rewarding people that come on early in another way. And they had some coverage on partner organizations that were working with them on their campaign. The next campaign was the Expand Lacing System. So the idea here is that you don't have to tie that bow knot on your sneakers anymore, that your sneakers will instead be held together with elastic shoelaces that have some stretch to them, like rubberized or something. So you don't have to tie them up anymore, just it holds the shoe closed for you. Some cool things about their campaign were they had a wide variety of color choices. This, depending on your campaign, may be an easy way for you to drive more traffic, more interest, to give people that choice of colors. They had a lot of stretch goals that they reached with their campaign. And they went a little bit out of their way to give more imagery for the press. They have a little area on their campaign. You click here and you get more images if you have a newspaper or blog or something that you want to stick the images in. Next, we had a returning campaign. This is Mini Museum 2, which, as you might suspect, there was a Mini Museum 1 roughly a year ago. This is a small acrylic rectangular device that inside it has samples of rare things, mostly the geological characteristic. So inside your mini museum in acrylic, you have 20, 25 small objects that are real pieces of history, real pieces of geology, and they had a very successful campaign the first time around. So here, this is a second time around with some different objects in the Mini Museum 2. They had several early bird levels to drive early traffic and early donations. They decided they were going to provide a companion book with every single mini museum, explaining more of the history of all the samples, where they came from, how they were acquired, that kind of thing. And in one of their rewards, it was a pair of two. One was the acrylic mini museum that you see here. Another one had 24 little containers that you could open each container so you could touch the samples, touch a piece of history. So congratulations to Mini Museum 2 for having another successful campaign. Next was Hidden Hub. This is a music solution. It's maybe not obvious from the picture, but this is a sound speaker that's battery powered. And one of the coolest things about this is it sends out sound waves that reflect around the room that's located in and determine the acoustical characteristics of the room, and then adjust the sound that's being put out to make everything be perfect for the location where it currently is. So In this campaign, they had a lot of good technical information about the machine itself. They addressed their compatibility with different streaming services for music, Pandora, and so many others now. So they went into that a little bit. And one of the options was that you can get a reward that includes a remote control for your hub speaker. This is something that could apply to a wide variety of electronic projects. If you're doing a project that is electronic in nature, and it's plausible that you might want to have a remote control to help people use your device, that might be an interesting thing to package separately to give some more price points in your campaign. Next, we have the heated jacket. This is a jacket and gloves there's a battery built in with heating elements built into the jacket, so that if you live up north somewhere, you can have a warm jacket, warm gloves. So certainly a good idea if you live in Chicago or somewhere like that. This campaign was aware of the March of the calendar and Christmas coming up, so they had like a whole set of rewards. But like if you pledge for certain amounts, for those rewards, they were going to send them so you would get it by Christmas. Another thing they did, again with the calendar in mind, is they said they would send out a gift card. So if you didn't get in time to have your thing ship so that the recipient would get it by Christmas, they would send a card to where it was going to go with like a picture of what the gift was, saying, your gift is being prepared or something, to sort of address that timing issue. Another thing they did that you don't see as often as I would think you probably should on Kickstarter campaigns is a 5-year warranty. They talked about that a little bit, but they're going to stand behind what they sell. And another thing that they did is different designs of jacket, different colors, again, to try to open it up to most people being interested as possible. So if you want a hoodie, they had a hoodie jacket. They have just a vest. They have a regular jacket, a jacket with a hood, so forth. Perhaps to me the most interesting campaign this month that I saw was blocks. We're very electronics oriented, as everybody knows, and smartwatches have been coming on strong for the last couple of years, and especially with the Apple Watch quite recently. Their idea is that the watch band is made electronic, and the band is composed of modules that you pick out the modules that you want. So you could have one of your modules be extra battery life. One module in the band could be a GPS thing or an altimeter, so that you can sort of mix and match these modules in the wristband of the watch to give your watch special capabilities, superpowers for your watch. So some of the interesting things about how they laid out their campaign was they had a Back This Project button, which you sometimes see scattered in the main body of the campaign. I guess this is for people that aren't acclimated yet to Kickstarter, and to show them what they're supposed to do to support something. They had a section about awards that they'd won, which I thought was a good idea. If you've won some awards for your product or awards for your company, perhaps even for executives in your company or your partnership that you're doing your campaign about, tell the people. It gives you credibility. Also, they had a reward that was 30 units of their watch. And I haven't seen, I don't think publicly, something on Kickstarter saying that they've waived the unit maximums, which had been set at 10 units of things previously. But they seem to be loosening up on that. So if you want to offer a campaign reward for more than 10 of a thing, you may be able to do that now. Scythe is a tabletop game, and games are very popular on Kickstarter. Some of the interesting aspects of this particular game were that they had a gameplay video, which I always think is a good idea to get an idea what the game would be like, to watch the people playing the game. They had a lot of stretch goals, which happens oftentimes in the games, 27 of them that they reached. And they had a return policy that for whatever reason you could return it for a full refund within a month. You can open it up, you know, it's okay if it's an open game, you've got a month to return it for full refund, which I thought was smart. The biggest campaign in November was BattleTech. This was a video game from some famous makers of video games in the past. It was quite successful. They brought in about $2.8 million in revenue for this game. Some of the things that they did that were a little bit unusual is they had add-ons, extra purchase options, more features, more stuff for the game, more swag. You can pick that out and pay for it. They had a sample of the soundtrack. A lot of people forget that you can stick audio clips into campaigns just the same way you can stick extra video clips into campaigns. But you can do that, and they use that to share the soundtrack of their game. And partly because they'd had, you know, prior success in the industry and had done well, they were able to talk about endorsements. So they showed several endorsements from